Vice President on lifestyle audits and unexplained wealth audits. Yesterday, I moderated a high-level anti-corruption conference themed Revitalizing the Anti-Corruption Architecture in Africa, Ghana's Accountability Journey. This was the conclusion of the week-long peer assessment visit by the AU Advisory Board against corruption in Ghana. From Shraj Commissioner Dr. Joseph Whittal, Special Prosecutor Kisie Jabing, good governance and anti-graft CSO leaders and participants all express worry that our situation is only getting worse. Vice President Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman wants us to confront the truth that indicators like the Corruption Perception Index, the Ibrahim Index of African Governance, and the 2022 Ghana Statistical Service Corruption Report confirm that we are not making progress in the fight. We are stagnating. That Statistical Service survey report revealed that a staggering 5 billion Ghana cedis was lost to bribery alone in 1 year. The IMF's assessment that our control of corruption has deteriorated over the last decade underscores the urgency to double up our efforts. She got loud applause when she endorsed the long-standing campaign for lifestyle audits and unexplained wealth audits or legislation. She said, revitalizing Ghana's anti-corruption architecture requires bold action across multiple fronts. We must legislate and universalize unexplained wealth audits, extending their application to both public officials and private citizens, a point the OSP underscored, while anchoring the principle of reverse burden of proof in our constitution. This has been a long-standing fight that corruption happens in the underworld. And to defeat it, you need the reverse burden of proof. The one that makes the complaint about corruption should not be the one with the burden to prove that somebody is acting corruptly. This must be the very first time our government has openly endorsed such law reform to effectively fight public sector and grant corruption. You check our constitution in Article 286, Clause 4, and it says, any property or asset acquired by a public officer after the initial declaration required by Clause 1 of this article and which is not reasonably attributable to income, gift, loan, inheritance, or any other reasonable source shall be deemed to have been acquired in contravention of the Constitution. That's where it ends. People assume public office and suddenly they acquire assets, property. We know their income cannot support. We know they didn't take a loan for. We know they didn't get an inheritance or a gift to make that property. And all the Constitution says is that that acquisition is in contravention of the Constitution. And so what? That's why we need unexplained wealth orders that will empower the law enforcement agencies to collect, retrieve all these acquisitions. It is found that political funding is a major problem. A presidential candidate needs in excess of $100 million to have a successful campaign. The parliamentary aspirants also need a lot of money. And there is vote buying and vote selling all the time, starting from the primaries. But guess what our law says? That the Electoral Commission is supposed to ensure that a political party within 6 months from the 31st of December each year will file a return in a certain form specified by the Electoral Commission, indicating the state of its accounts, the sources of the funds, membership dues paid, contributions and donations in cash or kind, the properties of the party and time of acquisition, and such other particulars as the Commission may reasonably require, and more importantly, audited accounts of the party for the year. These are not being implemented, and it takes bold law reform as being envisaged to make this happen if we will win the fight against corruption. Professor Francis Dodu's office, the Presidential Advisor on the National Anti-Corruption Program, you have your job cut out for you. Ensure that the conduct of public officers' bail and related legislation make this possible. These are the projects that we, the citizens, will have no hesitation at all if they are passed under a certificate of urgency. My co-moderator, Nong Falong, had a perfect summary. Let's move from talk to action. And that is my take.